Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Driven, the Road to Peak Performance. My name is Jinno Rufino. Her name is Coach Sheila Tan. And today we're going to be talking about confidence. And typically you'll hear in relation to peak performance, people will tend to say, just be confident in yourself. Just be confident in your skills and you'll be able to achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. But today we're going to be learning that confidence doesn't always work for you. In fact, it could be the complete opposite. So
Right.
let's discuss this because I am intrigued because personally for me, I've heard this throughout many, many years of my existence that just be confident, you'll be able to achieve it. But you're telling me that that's not always the case.
Right. So I think when people talk about confidence, they really mean different things. Usually they say, just be confident and you can do it.
Right.
And sometimes it works in a sense that like we can wing things
Right.
because of confidence. But sometimes if our competence does not equate to our level of confidence, then we may be overestimating our talents and skills
Right.
compared to what is needed for the performance, right?
Right.
And sometimes when we're too confident, it becomes like an anchor of who we are. It becomes an identity that I am Sheila, I am, for example, a gymnast.
Okay.
And I have to be really good because that's who I am. But the problem is if my skills are not up to par with whatever standard that I want, Olympic standard, then if I sort of fail versus that standard, then I take it as I'm not worthy. There's a problem with me.
Okay. Okay. So let me try and make this himay a little bit more, right?
Yes, make it himay, you know.
Make it himay. So let's say an athlete, right? An athlete who's towards the latter part of their career. Let's say that they're in their, 40s, they're about to retire from the sport. When they're prime, obviously they're dominant. They're dominating. And then when they get a little bit older, they slow down. And that sort of affects them as their self-worth.
Right.
It's possible.
Right.
Right. And so that's basically, how do you overcome that? How do you tell yourself, okay, you know what, it's time. It's time to hang it up. It's time to be, it doesn't affect my self-worth. It's just time to move on to the next chapter.
Right. So in that particular example, then it becomes first, the confidence may be higher than the actual skills already by that time.
Yeah.
And another problem in that situation is an over-identification.
Okay.
Like, I am a basketball player. And when they stop being the best,
Right.
then they start to have an identity crisis. Like, who am I if I'm not MVP anymore?
Okay.
If I'm not the best in the team anymore?
Okay.
And it could be a problem even just at the start, because if they're starting and they need to train to be better, people who rely too much on I'm confident, I'm good at this, may not be open to feedback.
Okay.
And of course, we all need feedback to be able to be better at whatever we do.
Right.
And so if my whole worth as a person is dependent on me being confident that I'm the best at this, any negative feedback feels like it's an attack.
Right. Okay.
And every performance feels like my worth is on the line. And then if they lose, if they don't win the championship, then they go, then what worth do I have? I have no value anymore. And so we see a lot of people who are at their peak, who have so much potential, but get depressed. And then they're not able to perform anymore because it feels like I need to always prove myself. And if I fail, then there's something wrong with me.
Right. So I kind of see it. But because that what we were discussing, that confidence, that basically all or nothing.
Right.
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 It's like for some people, it pushes them to success.
Right.
But you're saying, though, it's also possible that even though sometimes you'll probably succeed, sometimes you'll probably get it done, in the long run, it shouldn't be the driving force, so to speak.
Right. And this is where we want to introduce another self-concept that we call self-esteem.
Okay.
And a lot of people use self-esteem and confidence interchangeably, and they're very different. Self-esteem is about my worth as a person, as a human being.
And it's nothing to do with the task at hand.
It should not have anything to do. But the problem is, a lot of people go through self-confidence. I need to be really good. I need to be the best at my skill so that I have a high self-esteem.
Okay, yeah.
And when that happens, it's like giving the wrong fuel. It's like eating when I'm actually thirsty. Does that make sense? So a lot of people go through, I need to be good at something so that I can prove myself, my family, whoever we're proving ourselves to, that I'm worthy. And when you ask them, worthy of what? Just worthy of being loved, even worthy of existing in this world.
Wow.
A lot of people feel, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say, I need to prove myself.
Right.
And
I hear it all the time.
yeah, and prove myself for what? So there is an inner belief or an inner assumption that I need to earn my worth in this world. And that's such a dangerous concept because we start depending on external environment, external people for validation. We need our teacher, our parents, our partner, our bosses to tell us, hey, I'm worthy of living.
Yeah.
And when the people around us don't know how to validate, and when we are not up to par with their standards, and a lot of people have really high standards, then I start to feel, hey, I'm not worthy, I'll just kill myself.
Yeah.
And that is why we have a lot of these mental health issues, we have a lot of suicidal people, and when you look at them from an external perspective, they have so much potential, they have so much talent.
Right.
But the inner dialogue is that I'm not even worthy to be here.
Right. So I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there is that I mean, I see a lot of shows and documentaries about how some people in Japan have suffered from something like this.
Right.
Like they can't achieve what it is, or they fail at their work, at their job, and they can't, they feel like they can't live, some of them. And then they go to I do believe I can't remember the name of the mountain. But there is a mountain that some of them go to, and then they end their lives over there because they failed in whatever, in whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Right.
And so that's basically what's going on there. That their self-esteem, their self-worth is so tied into their jobs that when that fails, it's almost like they're not worthy.
Yeah. So a lot of these are the messages that we get from early childhood, from caretakers, from parents to maybe even older siblings and teachers. And then there is that cultural aspect. Like you mentioned Japan. In Japan, there's the harakiri, right? Like if you do something shameful, it's honorable to kill yourself.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of that is creating a lot of mess in people's minds. And you'll see a lot of people in Japan are isolating. They have high suicides. A lot of people who have suicidal thoughts. And shaming people at work is considered normal. And people just accept it because I deserve it. And so these are the things that we need to correct if we want a healthier society.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going off tangent here a little bit, but here in the Philippines anyway, that I don't remember another time where I've seen more and more people, young people at that, actually, unfortunately, committing suicide.
Right.
And we see it a lot now as compared to, at least when I was younger, and you never really hear about it.
Yeah, which wasn't so long ago.
Yeah. But is that something that is that, I guess, I mean, we don't know the real reason why some of these kids are doing it, but there has to be some sort of relation here.
Yeah, definitely. And so especially with social media, then comparison is, it's a lot easier to see other people relative to who I am. So this person looks good. This person has so many likes. And when people tie their value, their esteem to having such and such followers, such and such comments. And when people give negative comments, then all of a sudden, I'm not worthy.
Yeah.
And so having that self-esteem, so we define it as my belief about my own worth, and it has to be unconditional.
Okay.
So what happens is when people sort of interchange self-esteem and self-confidence, then when they're performing at their best, they feel good. And then when they don't feel when they're not performing at their best anymore, something goes wrong, they get injured, they have a bad day, then their self-esteem goes down with it.
Right.
So what we want
Isn't that a normal thing though? Like that, I mean, I don't know if it's just me that, yes, my self-esteem does go down if I get hurt, if I get injured and I can't do my work. If so I don't know. Like isn't it a normal thing for your self-esteem to feel hit, to take a hit if you're not able to do, if you're injured, if you can't do what it is you're trying to do?
And this is why it's so important to separate both. Because
Okay.
we want self-esteem to be unconditional.
No matter what.
Because it's about my value as a person.
Okay.
Right? So imagine like a baby. You won't say, oh, this baby's worthless because it can't feed itself. It can't even crawl, right? It can't even change its own diaper. We see like a pet or a baby as just valuable. And we want to continue seeing ourselves that way, such that even when I'm not performing at my best, I still have unconditional worthiness.
How do you do that though? Like, because through the years, society, it's always been that though. At least the way I see it, it's always been, it's hard to maintain that self-esteem at a steady level if there's so many exterior factors trying to, that can affect it to bring it down.
Yeah. The good thing about self-esteem is it's a concept. It's about my belief about myself. And something does not have to be true for me to believe in it. So I can believe I'm worthy, and that will affect how I express myself, that will affect how I go about into the world. And I can believe I'm unworthy, and everything else will follow.
Right.
So it's just believing I'm worthy, period.
So, those tips or stories that when you wake up in the morning, you stare at yourself in the mirror in the bathroom, and you say, okay, you're confident, you're worthy, is that basically it in that sense?
It could work as a repetition. So we say that a belief is a confirmed thought. So
Okay.
first, it's a thought of, I'm worthy no matter what. And for many people, it might seem strange. It's like such a foreign idea of, wait, I don't need to do anything. I'm just worthy. And just repeating that to ourselves is going to work over time. Another easy way is if, and you would be familiar with this, I hope, is we think of something that we value so much or we're in awe of.
Okay.
Say, for some people, it's like looking at a baby, so precious, so lovable, and applying that feeling to ourselves.
Can you give me an example?
So if I tell you, what's one thing that gives you this feeling of, I'm just in awe? For some people, it's nature, like a tall mountain, sunset, sunrise, and having that feeling about something external. And once you get that feeling, you apply that to yourself.
Okay. Go
What
ahead.
if I felt this way about myself all the time? So even if I forget my lines, even if I don't run, I hit a wall or something, is that I still feel this way about myself. So that's the ideal ideal state that we want for everyone.
What's the difference between that and then the Filipino term na GGSS, na gandang-ganda sa sarili?
So the GGSS is...
Is that more confidence or... Okay, go ahead, sorry.
In fact, so it is confidence, and in fact, it's overconfidence, which will usually be compensating for lack of self-esteem.
Okay.
Because if I need to prove myself, hey, I'm beautiful, I need to tell everyone, hey, I want to make sure you know I'm beautiful. Hey, guys, I'm beautiful. Right? It's like, it's wanting to convince myself. It feels like it's convincing other people, but it's really convincing myself that, see, hey, I'm pretty. And when you keep doing that, there's an assumption that there's a void that you're trying to there's something that you're trying to disprove. So a lot of people who do that actually have that negative self-critic. Not negative self-critic. Negative self-dialogue, or what we call an internal critic.
Okay.
So a lot of these people, when I talk to them, when we go into coaching, externally everybody feels this person is so confident, she has everything, and deep inside they go, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat, I'm so everything.
Wow. Yeah. Although something in someone like that, you can kind of see it, right? You can kind of see it from the exterior.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying about finding what you're in awe of. I just want to give you an example. I was recently in Bhutan, the happiest place on earth, right? Where happiness is part of their GDP. And we ended up in this valley that all of us were in awe of. Like the nature that we saw there was spectacular. The ride going back to where we were staying that night was excellent. So going back to what you were talking about with being in awe of something, I was recently in Bhutan, the happiest place on earth where happiness is part of their GDP. And on that trip, we ended up in this valley that was the most amazing thing we've ever seen. All of us felt the same way. And then our ride back to the place we were staying, there was birds that were following us. I mean, it was just the most spectacular. Words cannot describe what that feeling was. And that was awe.
Right.
For me.
Exactly.
That's I can't describe it. The photos and the videos that we took when we were there does not do it justice.
Yeah.
But the moment of us being there and being in absolute awe, that was it for me. So you're saying I need to figure out how to pull that feeling, that sensation, and putting it about myself.
Exactly.
How do you do that?
So imagine if you could see yourself as that. So beautiful. So there's nothing that can go wrong in this moment. So think about yourself in that way.
Wow. Is there steps that you can? I mean, it's. I guess it's almost. It's easy for me to say that, but for me to be able to really accept it and for it to really, I guess, be part of my DNA, so to speak. I don't know if I'm there yet. How is there a way to be able to get that, I guess, in there further?
Some people just do it visually, like you imagined. So taking a screenshot in your mind and feeling that about yourself. We could also do what we call a kinesthetic anchor.
Okay.
I could do it to you. If you could...
Sorry, pause. So the concept of it, I mean, I can tell myself that. I can tell myself be in awe the same way I was in that sensation in that moment. But I don't know if I can really accept it, right? I don't know if I can really bring it down as to be part of my DNA. Is there a way that we can? Is there a way that I guess we can do that, at least to get it in there further?
So 3 ways we could do this. For people who are visual, sometimes that image and just thinking about themselves as soon as they get into that feeling works. For some people, they have to have something auditory, like what you were saying, oh, I'm worthy. It could be that.
Yeah.
Another is a kinesthetic anchor, which is something that we could do physically, and
Okay.
I could do
Like,
a demonstration.
what do you
now.
mean?
If you could lift your sleeves a bit.
Which one? Does it
Yeah,
matter?
this one, yeah. So, for example,
Well,
let's do this.
That's as far as it can go.
Let's do this.
Okay.
So I want you to imagine again that was it a mountain?
Yeah, it was a valley.
It was a valley.
So it was a valley, and we were seated here. It was a valley, and then
Okay.
we were, anyway, yeah.
So I want you to go there, and
Okay.
if it will help to close your eyes, then just
Okay.
do that. And I'm gonna touch you in just a bit.
Okay.
So I want you to imagine being there, what you saw, how it felt, maybe what you were hearing, and just nod your head if you're there. Imagine the beauty of that, and I want you to imagine feeling this awe in every fiber of your body. And multiply that by 100, by 1,000. And just feel this. And then I want you to think about yourself as you have this feeling. So think about yourself as valuable no matter what. So whatever happens, whatever you're able to do or not do, is you'll be in awe of yourself, and you'll know that you're unconditionally valuable no matter what.
Okay,
How's that feel?
yeah. It can't be that easy.
Or it can.
Or it can.
Yeah. So 4 decades of programming. Reprogram in 1 minute.
Wow, no, it can't. Huh? What do you mean? Okay. Yeah, no, it can't be that easy, right? I mean, like it's. Do you expect for it to subside, or that feeling, that sensation to subside?
For some people, once they have it, they can always bring it back.
Wow.
For some people, and these are what we call they need repetition to be convincers, then they could do that every time they feel about themselves to remind themselves. And so with the repetition, there's reprogramming, it develops the neuroplasticities in the brain, and then it becomes a new default.
Wow. And that, I mean, in all honesty, it's hard to describe it.
How was that for you?
No, but it was good. It was because I really found myself back in that valley. Because it was so, you know, we got off our bikes, we sat down, and without saying anything to each other, I looked around, and all of us were at a state that we were all seated by ourselves, and it looked like we were deep in thought. Some of us were meditating, and it was just the most awe moment that I've ever seen.
Exactly. For some people, that is like a spiritual experience, right? Some people, those who believe in God, would say it feels like I'm so close to God when I see such beauty, such magnificence.
And honestly, that's what it felt like when we were there.
Yeah.
It was like the skies open and it was like speaking to us. At least that's the way I felt, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I talked to some of my friends who I was there with, we all kind of said the same thing and not in different words. It was a very, I don't know, maybe I can even show a photo of that place, but it was such a moment, put it that way. It definitely was a moment being in that place, and it affected all of us in the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And imagine feeling that way about ourselves.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens in the court, no matter what happens on stage or at work, if you feel that way about yourself, then it's almost like there's nothing that can make me feel bad.
No matter what your performance is like.
Right.
But so since we are about peak performance, how do we channel that into into performing at our peak?
Right, great question. So a lot of people don't want to feel good about themselves because they say, I'm going to be complacent. Then I'm
Yeah.
not going to be at my best.
Right.
And that's actually not true because success begets success. If my worth is not on the line, then I could train harder. I could get negative feedback, and that will make me stronger because no matter what happens, I just bounce back.
Yeah.
That's the very foundation of resilience too.
Right.
That solid core that I'm valuable no matter what. Even if I didn't perform the way I wanted to, that's okay. Because that's not about my worth. It's just about my condition at that time.
Wow. Hey, so you hear it sometimes, again, going back to athletes, right? You hear it sometimes, right? Like some of the greatest out there of all time, guys like Larry Bird, Kobe, Magic, so on and so forth, Michael Jordan, they'll say that I want to take the last shot. If I make it, we win. If I don't make it, we don't win. It's almost as if it doesn't really bother them, even though you know that they hate losing.
Yeah.
So they already achieved that in that sense.
So it becomes just matter of fact.
Yeah.
It's not about we need to. And that maybe is what makes a difference between we need to win versus we want to win. I want to win. The need is it's a necessity.
For your self-worth.
Right. What's not being said is like, because if not, then what?
If it's not, then what? Then they're not worthy, right? Or they lose. So, but that mentality that these, again, going back to the athletes, it's almost as if they realize this already, and they live with it already, and they get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a high probability that they got to where they are because they had the self-esteem in the first place.
Right.
Because you can't overperform to get self-esteem. It doesn't work that way.
Okay. So you can't overperform for your self-esteem.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying it's limitless in that sense.
That it's the wrong fuel.
Okay.
It's the wrong fuel for self-esteem. No matter how good I am, if I feel worthless as a person, me being the best in the world is not going to solve that.
Okay.
So it's like if you're thirsty and I give you chocolate, I give you cake, no matter how much you eat, it does not solve the thirst.
It makes you even more thirsty.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Interesting. All right, so how does this affect, how do we translate this into for achievement and for performance in that sense? How do we get further into that so that our listeners and viewers are able to, I guess, learn how to really be peak performers?
So what I normally see is people want to perform to feel good about themselves.
Okay.
And that's not the motivation that we want.
Okay.
We want people to come from unconditional self-esteem, and from there, it's like operating from a full cup and then wanting to be the best that they can, wanting to excel, wanting to perform at my peak because that's what life is about.
Yeah.
But that's not at the expense of me.
Right. So you're saying, going back to the cup, not necessarily the cup needs to be full in order for you to proceed, right?
Right.
Not exactly, I need to proceed so that the cup gets full.
Exactly. Because that's how a lot of people do it. And what happens is they get into burnout, they get into depression, they get into all of these things. Some people get into addiction because of that. Because no matter what they do, they just can't feel good about themselves. Even if I'm so rich, I'm so famous, I have everything that I want. They think I buy the latest car model, the most expensive watch there is, hoping to feel good about themselves, and that doesn't cut it, and so they go into extreme sports, all these things.
Okay. Just to get
Yes,
that. Just,
I'm sorry, did it hurt? Yeah.
Yeah, no, no. So you could see here people saying like, I do certain things. I do extreme sports or whatever else, take these big risks in order to feel alive.
Right. To feel that high.
To feel that high. And that's what you're saying, that's not, that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, it's okay that people want to feel that, as long as it's not with the intention of filling a void.
Okay, the void, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the void is what you want to avoid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so let's start with how does it even start?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of parents with the best of intentions would say simple things like, oh, do you want to make mommy happy? Do you want mommy to love you? Then you should be the best at this, best at that. So in preschool, elementary, there are a lot of helicopter moms because they need their children to be the best.
Right.
Right?
So they're using that love as the motivational factor.
Right. That's how it comes across.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these parents, of course, with love and the best of intentions, because they feel that way about themselves, then they go, my child has to be the best because it means I'm a good parent.
Yeah.
Then I'll feel good about myself.
Wow.
And then the message that the child gets is, oh, so if I'm not the best, then mommy won't love me.
Wow.
If I want mommy to be happy, then I have to, whatever, be the best at math, be at the top honors. And then that continues to happen, and then a lot of teachers are not helpful either. They favor the one with the best questions, the highest grade in exams. And then children start to feel, oh, if I'm better at academics or at sports, then I'm favored, then that means I'm worth more. So there are these subliminal messages that we get, and then once we get into adulthood, then it's almost like, I don't know what's wrong, I don't know what happened, but I'm so messed up.
Right. So throughout school life, the A, B, C, D, passing grade, high honor roll, it's almost as if it's a reward in that sense that, okay, I need to, in order to be in the honor roll, I need to be, like, it's almost as if it's attacking your worth in that sense, in some cases, that you have to be able to be in the honor roll, so you'll be recognized, so you'll be awarded the plaque, so you'll be awarded the ribbon.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? That could be part of the problem?
So the grading system is okay.
Yeah.
So I know if I'm operating at a level A+. I write an essay, I get a grade. Oh, this is B. If I want to be better, then I have to work on grammar, whatever. But the competition, the honor roll, that someone is better than me, is what is...
It could be an issue.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, at least in my school, 3.0 was the honor roll. So if I'm at 2.99, and
you
then
don't make it.
All my friends are at 3.0 and above, and I don't make it, it's almost like I don't belong in that group.
In that sense, it's how the message is given.
Okay.
And maybe how your friends will treat you, like, oh, you don't belong.
Yeah.
And that
you can't sit with us.
Yeah. That part is social.
Yeah.
And it's really changing the message across different aspects of our lives, family, school, social, is that, oh, you're at 2.99, it's okay. How do we help you become better?
Right.
And that's where collaboration at an early age is very important, as opposed to pitting people against each other. And a lot of parents would pit siblings against each other.
Sure, there's the whole sibling rivalry situation.
Exactly. So parents create that for most part.
So a lot of the issues that we have in life is, we can blame it on childhood trauma, is what you're saying.
wrong parenting. Yeah, with the best of intentions.
With the best of intentions.
Because that's how they grew up. That's the message they got. And for them to be the best parents is I need to make sure my kid does not go through the pain of failing like I did.
Right. So, okay, let's go to so we're talking about people who are trying to get to, let's say in the school, in school, trying to get to a certain level. How about the people who are at that level, but they're staying there for the wrong reasons? You know what I mean? Like, let's say somebody's in terms of school, or I'm averaging a 4.0 GPA. But he's doing it because he feels like if he doesn't stay at the 4.0 GPA, his parents will be very disappointed.
Yeah.
It's also the wrong reason to stay there.
Yeah, so it's what we call a negative motivation.
Right.
So how they get there with so much stress, and I'm surprised I coach 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and I can't imagine how stressed they are because of all these messaging about needing to excel, needing to be the best. And a lot of parents would go, my child is the best at everything.
Right.
And that's the wrong message, because now we're encouraging them to be confident at things that they're not good at.
Okay.
So the message that we want is, there are things that I'm good at, and be confident about that.
Right.
That's where your gifts are, that's where your talents are. And sometimes life gives us some cards that we don't like. We're not tall enough, we're not slim enough. And these are things that we just want to accept. And these are different from me as a human being. So if you put it like on an ascending scale, so it's rejection, acceptance. So we don't want people to get into self-rejection at all, ever.
Yeah, ever. Yeah.
Just acceptance. Acceptance of things I did wrong. Things I made a mistake in. I made a wrong judgment. Things that I'm not good at.
Yeah.
For some people, they're musically inclined, so they're not as good at math. So just accept that I need to exert more effort at this, and these things come easier.
Okay.
And then appreciate myself for the things that I'm good at. I'm good at singing, dancing, whatever it is. And just separate that from me as a person. And that's the awe that we've been talking about.
So again, you're going back to pulling yourself out of, almost like seeing yourself in a third person, I suppose. And everything that's, whatever it is you're trying to do in life, you set that aside. It's almost like you have to look at that as something different than you as your self-worth, as your self-esteem as a human being.
That's a great way of looking at it. If we do that, the terms that we use is me as a being and me as a doing person.
Okay.
So being is about me as a human.
Yeah.
Human being and a human doing. Separating my worth as a person to my abilities, my skills, my capabilities.
That's to come into that realization is a little bit difficult for some people, though. Like, it's because people tend to always feel like what they do is who they are. When people ask, and when you meet somebody new, it's almost as if, hey, what do you do for a living? That's always the question.
Exactly.
Or maybe 90% of the time, that's going to be the question. It's almost as if you're tying in that person, career, into who they are.
Right.
And that is not the case.
So the idea is to not over-identify with specific roles. Is to know that we have so many roles. So I'm a sister, a daughter, a writer, a speaker, a coach, all these different things. So if one thing does not work, that's okay. That's not the entirety of who I am. And while a lot of these have been developed in early childhood and in school, the people that we work with could have a lot to do with it as well. Like if a boss gives negative feedback, one of the things that I teach is, how do you give feedback that does not attack the person?
Right.
So instead of saying the problem with you is you're lazy, you have a bad attitude. you're lazy, you're an idiot, whatever. This is what you did, and this is what we want you to do. So focus on doing, not being.
Okay. And that's, yeah, I mean, that's a little difficult also because some bosses will criticize you and not really criticize you.
Exactly.
But not exactly what you've done or what you're lacking.
Exactly.
Or the task that you failed at. It's you're criticizing the human being, the person.
Exactly. So if the person receiving has done that work, the person can say, okay, this is not about me.
Yeah.
He's angry at something. He's talking about what I do.
Right.
But if the people don't have that, people around us could help, even just friends. Just saying, okay, this is what you did, but that's not who you are.
Right.
And for when I do coaching, and a lot of people say, okay, this is my past, so I'm damaged, or so I don't have hope. So I go, okay, and you're more than your past. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. And for many people, they're like, what? It's like hearing something in a different language. And it starts as a concept, but once it settles in, then it starts to feel like the truth.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of people could just do that to themselves.
Yeah.
They could say, okay, I did that because I was hungry at that time. Then I couldn't think straight, but that was me back then.
Right.
That's not who I am.
Yeah.
And my past does not equate to what my future will be like.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So profound. Well, let's talk about huh? Okay na yan? 30 minutes na ba yan? Okay. Okay. Wait, let me think. Is there anything else you wanna discuss? Okay, I'll ask you that na lang.
Anxiety about the future.
Okay, I'll ask you that na lang. Okay, so we're at about, I guess, close to the 30-minute mark already for a episode that's just the two of us. And typically we do these episodes, they don't last as long as the ones with the guest. But is there anything else that you wanna discuss?
I want to talk about another self-concept, which is self-efficacy.
Okay.
So a lot of people could have self-confidence and still worry so much about the future that they get all wrapped up in overthinking,
Right.
anxiety.
Yeah, because that's a big issue.
Right. They have to think of every possible scenario and prepare for it. And when that happens, what's lacking is self-efficacy.
Okay.
Self-confidence is about the past. It means I've learned it, I've done it, I'm confident I can do it again.
Okay.
Self-efficacy is believing I'm going to figure it out. And so I will prepare for whatever is reasonable, contingency plans, plan A, plan B, and if something else happens, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
If people have self-esteem, unconditional, self-confidence that's equivalent to skill and competence,
Okay.
and self-efficacy to figure it out, the world will be a much happier place, for sure.
For those three different things to align properly.
Right. Yeah.
That should be the goal of every human being then.
Exactly. Every parent, every school, if this is the one thing we can teach people, then a lot of the things we're experiencing now will not be a problem. We have wars, we have corruption, we have meaningless competitions about all of these things. Who's more beautiful, who's whatever. All of these things will cease to be problems if we have these three in the right way.
Yeah. I mean, we can do an entire episode about beauty pageants and whatnot. But we probably shouldn't touch that at the moment. But I mean, it's, one thing I love about these episodes that there is no guest is that I feel like I'm getting a session. I'm feeling I'm getting a therapy session from Sheila.
You now have unconditional self-esteem. Congratulations.
But I think we can dive in a little bit further to the self-efficacy in a different episode. But it is something, I guess, great to know that these three different things, that if we get that down pack, I mean, that should be the goal. That should be the mission for everyone.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, but there's a lot of work to be done in order to get there. But thank you very much for this episode. Thank you very much for listening and watching us. And of course, you can reach out to Sheila straight on her social media platforms. We'll flash it in the bottom. You can also follow us, please, on our social media platforms. It is Driven, the Road to Peak Performance. She's Sheila Tan. My name is Jinno Rufino. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody.
See you
Stay safe.
soon.